Bonsoir everyone, welcome to Chacha's Creepy Show. Tonight I'm taking you to a place as majestic as it is unsettling, Versailles. Once the residence of the kings of France, it stands as dazzling symbol of absolute power and classical art. An estate so vast, you could easily get lost in it. And for more than a century. One specific corner has both fascinated and disturbed visitors. The mysterious estate of the Trianon, so beloved by Marie-Antoinette. The queen had a private boudoir in that little castle, perfect for quiet conversations and even spiritism sessions with friends. It was there one day in August of 1901 that two English tourists, Charlotte Anne Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain, had an experience that seemed to come straight out of a dream or out of another time. That day, the two women were walking through the gardens when everything suddenly changed. They found themselves immersed in a strange, oppressive atmosphere, heavy and almost unreal. But in the moment, they said nothing. They shared no reactions, no feelings. It was only several days later, when they finally compared their memories, that they discovered the impossible. Their visions matched. Same anxiety, same scenes. Same overwhelming impression of having crossed a veil and witnessed scenes of the past during the time of King Louis XVI, on the eve of the French Revolution. They became convinced the Trianon is haunted. Determined, they returned several times to investigate. And 10 years later, they published their findings in a book titled An Adventure, using the pseudonyms Elizabeth Morrison and Francis Lamont. Their real identities were only revealed after their death, but don't mistake them for eccentrics. These were two academics from clerical families, raised with intellectual discipline. Their approach was methodical, almost scientific. The book was a huge success. At the time, paranormal and psychic literature was very much in fashion. Jean Cocteau, in the preface of the French edition, wrote this striking line: "It is possible, if not probable, that space and time are nothing but a lie, a deceptive trick of perspective." Still, their story divided public opinion. Some historians accused them of making mistakes, but over time, archival research confirmed that many of the scenes they described matched the area of King Louis XV, even earlier than they had originally thought. Now it's time to follow them on their strange walk. We are in August 10, 1901, the two English women are visiting Paris and decide to spend a day in Versailles. After a sunny stroll through the palace gardens, they head off to explore the Petit Trianon. They slip through a hidden gate and their journey begins. They walk for a long time along the path. It's very hot outside and the atmosphere becomes increasingly heavy. The sky, once clear, suddenly turns cloudy. The landscape around them feels odd. They feel lost, oppressed, but they keep quiet. Thinking is just exhaustion. They pass by some buildings. A woman shakes out a white cloth from a window, but the tourists don't speak to her. It's as if something is compelling them to remain silent. They pass through a gate and onto a path leading to a deserted, eerie-looking farmhouse. An intense sadness overwhelms them for no clear reason. Then they see two men near a plough gardening. Their clothing is strange. Long green coats and tricorn hats. Totally out of time. The woman asks them for directions. The men respond vaguely, almost coldly. The silence grows even heavier. A little further, they see a woman and a young girl with white scarves who suddenly freeze in place, completely motionless, as if time had stopped. Further ahead, they come upon a Chinese-style pavilion, but the landscape behind it looks false, like a painted backdrop. They continue walking, dazed, as if inside a dream. In front of the pavilion, a man dressed in dark clothing and a large black hat is sitting in the tall grass. He slowly turns his head toward them. His face is damaged, pockmarked, his stare chilling. The women are struck with fear. Continuing along the path, they reach a small lake. Suddenly a loud noise shatters the silence. They look around. The path is empty. They are completely alone. Then, out of nowhere, in front of a rock, a young man appears, as if emerging from the rock itself. He wears a dark cloak, a large hat, curly brown hair falling over his shoulders, and a mysterious smile. In strange-sounding French, he warns them to not continue that way, and points toward another path. He turns to run, still smiling, and vanishes as if swallowed by the landscape. The women follow the path he indicated. They cross a small bridge and find themselves facing Le Petit Trianon. But this chateau, they will later insist, was not the same building they visited on later occasions, and the bridge, it no longer existed. On the lawn, a woman is seated, drawing. She lifts her head and stares at them intensely. Now inside the courtyard, the two women feel the presence of someone invisible standing beside them. A valet bursts out, slamming a door, and tells them they cannot enter from that side. He escorts them to the main courtyard, where a party seems to be taking place. And at that precise moment, once they pass through the main doors, everything returns to normal. No more sadness, no more oppressive atmosphere. The rest of their visit is completely uneventful. But what they experienced that day was not unique, because strange occurrences in this part of Versailles have been reported for a long time and still happen today. As early as 1870, when the park reopened to the public, a child claimed to have seen a royal haunting party and a woman in a weird dress. In 1908, an American couple encountered a blurry white silhouette in the gardens, almost two-dimensional. The man heard a strange buzzing melody around him, which his wife did not hear at all. They were both overcome with a deep sense of unreality. In 1939, a little boy claimed he had spoken with Marie-Antoinette. A staff member at the Trianon said she often spoke with a gardener in old-fashioned clothes, regularly found hiding in a broom closet beneath the grand staircase. In 1958, a painter setting up his easel in the ship barn fainted in terror after seeing a woman without a head descending the staircase. More recently, a construction worker saw the same figure, this time holding her head in her hands. When he tried to flee, objects started flying around him, and doors slammed shut by themselves. There was no escape. In the 1970s, a man out for a walk tried to turn back, but the path behind him had vanished. The entire landscape had changed. In 2008, a tourist in the Queen's bedroom suddenly felt extremely uneasy. She saw a smoky silhouette begin to form, and in a mirror, the reflection of two women and a little girl. More recently, a tourist was admiring a beautiful display filled with period wigs. Moments later, the display had completely disappeared, and it doesn't end there. Visitors often report physical or psychological distress, that uncomfortable feeling of being watched. Phantom lights appear from time to time in the theater. Joggers say they've heard ghostly footsteps beside them, as if someone was running just behind. The list goes on and on. So, mass hallucination, a tear in time, or just good old ghost stories. To finish, I leave you with Jean Cocteau's words about the two-lady experience. Their adventure is perhaps the most extraordinary of all time, and it is a shame that science is so reluctant to confront such exceptional phenomena, for otherwise it might greatly brighten its lantern. I hope you enjoyed this strange walk to the Trianon. Let me know in the comments what you think about it, or if you're already planning to visit Versailles. As for me, I'll be back very soon. Bye.